What's going on, guys? So today I'm talking about the WE Knives Double Helix. All right, this has the slide lock on it. It is an extremely interesting knife. It's a knife that the second I saw it, I knew I wanted to get one. And I got one fairly quickly, actually in a trade, and I just kind of sat on it. Use it really lightly here and there, just kind of play with it, you know, checked out the mechanisms and everything, and just kind of put it in a drawer. And it got forgotten about for months and months. Now I'm rediscovering it, using it a little bit more lately, and I want to do a video on it. I do think it's really cool. It's definitely different. You guys know I absolutely love different knives. I mean, that's what kind of drew me to it to begin with, is how this slide lock works. All right, so we're going to get into that in just a moment here. Here's the knife open. There are several versions of this knife, different colorations, different finishes and such. This one has kind of the bronzed finished handles with the dual tone blade. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So first, I just want to talk about the packaging real quick. Sometimes I'm guilty of throwing out packaging. I don't personally care about it. I would have threw this box out a long time ago, but people like to see this kind of stuff, so I try to keep that in mind. All right, so we have the WE Knives box. All right, of course it has a sticker on the outside, let you know what's going on here. This is an 815A double helix bronze tie handle with a CPM S35 VN blade, black stonewash satin finish. All right, so you can quickly identify your WE knives if you have them in a big old stack. And we have the nice little case here. All right, zipper pouch. I love these cases. There's a bunch of different companies that do these now. A lot of the Chinese companies do these. And they have like the double-sided pockets, all right? So you can put two different knives in here. They'll never touch each other. Just a really cool little setup. And you got a nice microfiber cloth, all right? If you're into knives and get a bunch of them like I do, you have a whole stack of these things, but they're very much appreciated and they work for all kinds of stuff. Clean off your glasses, clean off your windshield in your car, keep one in my glove box. You never know, super handy. But that's the packaging. All right, so let's get back to the knife here. Let me zoom in for you, get some details on this. First, we'll go over some specs. This has a 3.3 inch blade. Again, it is a CPM S35 VN. Fantastic steel. You can see the blade is sterile. There is nothing on the front or the back of the blade. All right. Again, this one is in dual tone with the black finish basically on all the cuts, and the flats are satin finished. Really interesting. Nice contrast on this one. I think I prefer like a full stonewash or something. But you know, teach their own as far as design goes. Overall length is 7.9 inches. Again, we have full titanium handles. This is kind of chunky overall. All right, it's a little bit on the wider side. And you can see the liners that are on here, okay, they protrude past the top scale. Now from a design perspective, super cool. But you guys know, if you've watched multiple videos from my channel about knife stuff, is that it's just something I don't personally like, because what ends up happening is with a natural grip like this, my thumb, I don't feel these outside scales. So it's nice and wide here, but I don't have a wide presence when I feel it. All I'm feeling is just these two bars. Luckily, they're not sharp or anything, so it's not that big of a deal. And if you choke your finger up a little bit more, you can see the jimping there, right? So then it doesn't matter at all. But generally speaking, when using this knife, I just kind of grabbed it like that, and I'm not where the jimping is. I'm back on the handle frame. So I would prefer, even though it looks cool like this, I prefer those scales to be even, so it's just a nice big wide rest. Okay, when you have a wide section like that, it ends up being super, super comfortable. But you can see it's total flow-through design, just a standoff on the back here. So what makes this knife really stand out is this slide lock. All right, now how the slide lock works, first we're gonna retract this down, the bar that goes all the way through to open it. So I just wanna kind of show you this slowly. So you can see this bar has to come down, almost like an axis lock, very similar. All right, and as far as how it feels, once this is shut, it's completely locked. It does not open at all, doesn't wiggle, there's no play. You have to pull on this bar. Now the issue that I have, it's not a huge issue at all, but it's something to note, is that you have to pull on both sides of the bar. You cannot just pull on one side, kind of like an axis lock. All right, this does not give you enough clearance. Whether you're pulling on just the back or just the front, it doesn't work. You have to use your pointer finger and thumb to pull on both sides to bring the bar all the way down to clear it so that the blade can freely move, okay, whether you're opening it or closing it. Generally speaking, I mean, you can open it, close it very slow like that. But most people are probably going to just retract it and flip it shut, or retract it and flip it open. All right, but what makes this really interesting and cool is that instead of just having a simple little spring, what they have underneath this bar, and it's on both sides, is a cutout on the frame and a separate piece. So this metal piece comes all the way down here, really thin, and goes all the way around, and that's what creates the spring tension. So as you can see, I move this slowly in and out, you can see that that whole circle is your actual spring. It's very unique. So this cutout here, it's allowing this piece to move all the way forward and backwards. Okay, and then it's happening on both sides of the knife. You see maybe underneath the pocket clip there. And that's how it works. All right. So it's just interesting. It's just cool. This is really functional art. I just absolutely love it. You know, other design cues here, it all kind of ties together. It's very, very futuristic to me. Very, very cool. Just interesting, very interesting. So as far as, you know, all the pluses, they're all there. It's not only a very usable knife, but it's a very interesting knife. It definitely sets itself apart. As far as downsize this knife, things I don't like the fact that you have to hold both sides. Again, so many people out there are, you know, used to the axis lock or similar style locks where, you know, you can just kind of pull on one side. You can't. You really have to pull on both sides to use this knife. The other thing is the handle, just, it comes across as a little bit chunky, you know, overall. The pocket clip, I can feel the pocket clip down here on my hand. It's not a huge deal. I actually like the style of the pocket clip quite a bit. Let me zoom back in here for you. Very simple design. They use these larger standoffs, all right, and a flat piece to create that tension. Now it is a little bit more tension on this, but it's not ridiculously tight or anything. It's very, very usable. All right, and in the pocket, I was kind of concerned that because we have screw heads that are sticking up here and the spring thing, that it might kind of get stuck coming in and out of the pocket, but no issue at all. The very few times that I carried it. But yeah, you do feel those because this is sticking up off the frame enough. You do feel that in the palm. I didn't get necessarily a hot spot from it, but you definitely feel it, okay? Especially if you're squeezing much harder, all right? And it's just kind of the edges here because it's a flat piece of metal with those screws. The price on these knives are around $285. Okay, so it's not a drop in the bucket. This is definitely an expensive knife. Again, I mean, I think it's really cool. There's nothing like it anywhere else in the market that I've ever seen. So that's just the price of admission. You know, if you want to take a ride on the roller coaster, you got to pay the man, right? So it's just what it is. For some people, it's going to be a collector's piece. For some people, it's going to be, you know, a little art piece. It is kind of classy. You know, you can definitely rock this. Different, you know, color combination stuff you could certainly rock in a nice environment, maybe a nice business suit or something, or if you're going to a wedding or whatever the case may be. It can definitely pass as kind of a gentleman's knife. But again, overall, just kind of futuristic. The slide lock is very functional, all right? Again, bank vault when it's closed. When it's open, there's a hair of play, all right? Hair play up and down. There is no side to side at all. I did play around with the pivot to try to get the up and down out, but there is just a touch. And that's when you're really cranking on it. If I do a light grip and go like this, no, there's no play at all. But when I check knives, when you see me go like this, you might not be able to tell, but I'm trying to break it. You know, I'm really just moving both pieces in all different directions with quite a bit of force. And when I do that, you can feel just a hair of up and down play. All right, and that, again, I don't know if it has to do with the specific tolerances to the lock or it's just a lock style. But I have nothing else to compare it to because this is the only knife that I know with this slide lock. So, or at least the only one that I have. So overall, I think it's really cool. It will definitely appeal to a certain, you know, type of collector or user. But it is extremely usable. The blade is hollow ground. It is a drop point here. I don't think there's other blade styles to this knife. Again, plenty of different finishes and overall looks, but I'm pretty sure they're all drop points. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the CPM S35VN is definitely top notch. Just an amazing steel. This thing is still razor sharp. I like the, you know, WE logo. I've always liked that. And their pivot screw here. This is of course the female side. The other side is your head there. But just interesting. Just a very interesting knife. Very futuristic. I kind of wish that there was a, you know, Civivi version of this knife, you know, for 75 bucks, so people can check out this style, you know, this specific lock mechanism, and kind of get a feel for this for less than that, you know, almost $300 price tag. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? But very, very cool knife. I do like it. Very nice addition to one's knife collection, but definitely not for everyone. You know, it's going to be a good EDC. It's not going to be a fantastic EDC. You're more or less, you know, getting into this knife just because it's so different and weird. You know what I mean? It's not the most comfortable, but it's not uncomfortable. It's kind of like, you know, in the gray area. It's floating around in the middle there, but because of the lock on here, it just stands out. That's the whole point. It really, really stands out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts on the Double Helix. I'm glad I was able to finally check one out. And unfortunately, it sat in a drawer for a long time, but now it's out and about getting some fresh air. So let me know down in the comment section if you guys have or had a Double Helix, because when these things came out, everyone wanted them. It was a big thing, and then it just kind of faded away. I haven't heard anyone even mention Double Helix all year, you know, or last year for the most part. So I don't know. It just kind of came and went. But let me know down in the comment section if you've had one, your experiences with it, and what you thought of it. Ultimately, like I said, it's a very usable knife, but it just stands out because it's so unique. If this did not have this cool lock function, I'd probably just say to pass it up. It's just okay, you know, but for almost $300, your options are wide open. There are a ton of knives you could try for that price, you know? But for me, it was just, I was fixated on it, and once I saw it, I'm like, I gotta try it. I have to have that in my hand. You know, if you don't like it, you can trade it off, sell it, do whatever you want. But I would imagine at this point, I don't know if they're still in production, but I would still imagine that they're, you know, going to be a little bit harder to find compared to a lot of other stuff. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Take care.